Hey guys, Trevor Laird here, and I want to talk to you guys today about my first experience with the mobile service for Tesla servicing. Now, if you guys remember from the first video I did talking about the inspections, there was a couple things that I missed, really minor things, but this is how they ended up working out. So there was a bit of glue or tape or something like that on the spoiler installation that the spoiler was lifting up a bit. And then also the big one was if you turn the steering wheel on the Model 3 just to the right spot, you got a little like a little squeak. And of course, when you're showing off the car to people or you're just taking a drive in this peaceful, relaxing car, and suddenly you're it's a bit irritating for sure. So I didn't want to go all the way back to Vancouver. I'm on Vancouver Island. It'd be like this huge thing and it cost taking a ferry over and blah, blah, blah in order to get over there. So I ended up placing a call to Tesla a few weeks after I got the car. Just, I wanted to see first if it would clear up. And they said, no problem. We have a mobile service tech that services the island, and we'll be able to get them up to you on the 22nd, 23rd, whatever it was, a couple of days ago. So I didn't want to, I knew this guy was coming and I didn't want to like get a camera right in his face. So I just took a couple of shots of what kind of happened, and then with the process of recording this afterwards. So basically, the way that it went was, yeah, I did the call to Tesla. I got a few text messages from them talking about different appointment times and everything like that. On the day of service, I got a text from the actual mobile rep himself saying he was on his way up and just confirming the address. I left work to just go meet with him. He said I didn't have to. The car would be left outside. It would be fine. But it's really good that I was able to leave work and go do this because we ended up having to, well, you'll see in a second. So I got back to the house and there he was. He already had the car open and he had already fixed the spoiler. Now what he wanted to do was have me show him the squeak, okay? He couldn't find it. So what I did was I got in the car, I went to the spot that it was, and I was able to show him the squeak that was happening, and it's quite apparent. And he's like, okay, there it is. Now he told me that he had already taken apart underneath the steering wheel in order to access it. There's like a little grommet in there that normally gets lubed up, but the squeak was still there. So the next part of the process was to take out the frunk. And this was really cool because you get to see absolutely everything, and that was a cool experience for me. So he took out the frunk and exposed everything underneath. You got the motors, all the cooling systems, everything like that. And then he had me go in the car and start to move the wheel, and he was able to find the source of it. No, what it was a wiring harness that was rubbing up against the steering shaft there, and that was causing that little squeak. It was just a tiny bit, but enough to make that there. So as we were looking at it, what he realized was there's absolutely no way he's going to be able to get his hands in there because of the location of it. And so we were going to have to move it into the garage. So we moved it into the garage here so that we can get a bit more access to jacking it up properly. He found the source of the squeak, but it's really inaccessible to get to, so he's going to have to jack it up. Now, technically speaking, he would have been able to jack it up outside on the street, but I offered him the garage to use because it's a flat area and it's just gonna be a more comfortable environment for him to do the work as well, but he would have been able to do it even if I wasn't there. So he went through the process of getting the car jacked up, and wow, it was crazy. These jacks that Tesla gives their service techs, incredible. They get in there quickly in the car. I've never seen my car rise up that fast to have all three wheels off the ground there while it's being jacked up. It's pretty crazy, and yeah, it shows how well those jacking points are really built. Once he had the car all jacked up and everything like that, he took off the bottom panel and was able to access that spot, and he fixed the error by just moving that slight bit of the wiring harness out of the way and tying that off, and so it's not going to be a problem in the future, and then the problem was solved. One really cool thing here I want to say about this guy is that he did an opportunity with me while he had everything apart to do a little Q&A from the top and from the bottom, and really took his time. Luckily, the other guy who he had a service appointment with later in the day up in Courtney had canceled, so he had time to sit there and chat with me for a little bit while he was putting everything back together, and I really enjoyed the experience of getting to know my car a little bit better.
But also the computer.
It's cooled as well.
So if you go right in there, those two coolant lines going through, go right to the back side of your computer.
That is crazy. So it's a liquid cooled computer.
Yeah. So if the computer's getting too hot, because the thing with because most of the Teslas are in regenerative braking, the brakes will actually season the caliper saddles to a degree.
Yeah.
Because they're not being used. So if you ever have a brake squeak or something like that, take it off regen and find the biggest hill you can.
And just go run it.
And go run it down the hill.
Because the brakes aren't being used commonly, right? Yeah. And that's the one thing with these is these monster brakes on the performance, and yet, yeah, if I'm just letting off the gas, normally using the regen.
Regen will slow it right down.
It takes you almost to a complete stop.
Yeah.
So there's a filter on here. Is that just for metal particles, or?
Yeah. Yeah. So at one service interval, you will change the actual dry fluid in there.
Oh, okay.
It
yeah.
is like a synthetic ATF in the drive units.
Okay. So it's just transmission fluid.
Yeah. Any problems?
Yeah. Yeah. And the battery units, are you seeing many issues with those?
No. I've seen more 12 volt.
Yeah, I've heard.
Screw-ups on Model 3s. I've never seen a Model 3 battery screw-up except for an ICBC repair hit. This tow hook right there.
Yeah.
Behind there, it's got two wires that are close to it. If you ever need to jump your car because you have a dead battery,
yeah,
that's where you do it at.
Hilarious.
You pop it open. You'll
they don't
feel
tell
in
you
there.
that.
There's going to be two wires. One's actually attached to it. The other one will be about there. Just pull them down and out, and you can get.
You can jump the 12 volt system,
and it'll jump the 12 volt enough for you to open up the door and hit your frunk open. And then you have to hook up a battery pack or jumper cables, or whatever you have.
Hilarious.
To that guy there.
They don't tell you any of that.
Yeah.
Nothing, right? Yeah.
That's why everybody just loves it when I show up.
Yeah, it's great.
What can you tell me about my car?
Again, these are things that you don't get shown, obviously, at the pickup of your car, because they're not expecting you to service your car. But if you're a total dork like me that loves this stuff, it's pretty neat to see how these cars are built and how they really work. Pretty fantastic stuff. So again, really small errors. The spoiler was super easy to fix. In the end, it wasn't too huge of a deal to fix that little squeak in the wheel, and the service was really, really excellent. Now, after this, we basically just lowered the car back down. He left it out, and he did up his little report. It sent me some paperwork. Everything was under warranty, obviously, $0. And so here's where I sit on it. The mobile service. I've heard a lot of people complain about these service centers and things like that. I have to say, this was my first experience with Tesla mobile service for something really minor. They sent a mechanic, 3 hours away to come see me. That is incredible right there, okay? The guy was super friendly, super accommodating, fixed the problems, was knowledgeable, really, really knew his stuff. That was a great experience. And if this is how my warranty experience is going to go going forward, it's a good sign for sure. Like the Tesla mobile service, they're really there, and it shows that you don't need to have a classic dealership in a garage and everything like that in order to service your car. So overall, an excellent experience, and I hope that's what I continue to have as this ownership goes in the future, because I plan to put a lot of kilometers and miles on this car, and so we'll really see how it holds up.